Doesn't quite mix things up too much. I don't think I've ever seen him go for a one base all in PvP, even though they are very possible. They can work quite well. Don't know if he's that kind of player necessarily. As we're getting into this, and spawning in the bottom right hand corner of a Neo Humanity, we have the South Korean Protoss player representing Team Abydos, as well as the weeaboos and waifus out there. Ooh, it is NightMare. And spawning in the top left hand corner of Neo Humanity, we have his opponent. We have the Chinese Protoss player representing the Starving Camels. It is Cyan. I need to watch some anime again. It's been a long time. What's the last anime that I watched? I want to say it was Food Wars, maybe? Like Food Wars, like season 3 or something. The problem with Food Wars is that it makes me hungry. It's like, oh, I need some of this umami inside me. I mean, I did promise Asher that I would watch the final season of Food Wars with him. That did happen. So I have to hold out on that. If you're in the chat and if you don't know what Food Wars is, maybe that's a good thing. Maybe you don't want to know what it is. It's all good, Pap. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Don't look it up. Don't Google it. As we are getting into this, and so far just double gate openers all around, as to be expected. Nothing too crazy from our players. Of course, this map doesn't have a ramp coming into the natural, so we won't be looking to expand or anything too crazy. Or we won't be looking to go for a gate expand or anything too crazy like that. Just standard openers all around. And we'll see how this does unfold. We'll see what our initial units are going to be as well. Okay. Double Adept from NightMare, double Stalker from Cyan, and oh god damn it. The other way around. Cyan gonna be the aggressor here with double Adept. Okay, so with these Adepts he can zoom across the map, he can bypass the Stalkers, he is gonna be looking to get into the mineral lines of NightMare and do some economic damage. Meanwhile, NightMare is going for the best of two worlds a little bit. His Stalker is going to be chasing down this probe. The Adept is going to be moving out across the map with only a singular Adept. This is more for scouting more than anything. Not really going to be finding too much damage. Scouting and also hopefully catching his opponent off guard. The Stalker does hunt this down. Because only one unit has been revealed, Cyan may also think that it's a Stalker Sentry opener or even a double Stalker opener, so there's a little bit of mind games going on as the Adept is getting across the map. The wall is not a wall, and NightMare should be able to slip on in. At the same time, Cyan has shown up across the map with his two Adepts. NightMare is ready for it though. He has a Stalker in position, he has a probe ready to block. Ooh, does wall off in time. Across the map, Cyan doesn't. The wall off is not there. The Adept does slip on in because it wasn't a double Adept opener, and probe damage is being done. Two probes go down. Very nice start here for NightMare. Back at home, he does hold as well. Back at home, these Adepts aren't able to do too much. He catches them. He's not looking. Ooh, a late reaction out of Cyan. One Adept does go down. Again, very good pickups here from NightMare, both across the map and back at home. And we are going to be transitioning. We have a robo on the way for both players, to be fair. And these robos, they can mean a multitude of different things. We can go into a third gateway, go for a prism, and go for an all-in. Or more likely, we can just work on detection and work on immortal production early on, just to be safe, just to be secure. This at least makes a lot of sense for Cyan, just because of how the openers have been shaping out. And yeah, immortal production is commencing. Now, in PvP, immortals are kind of king against Stalkers, especially in the early game. They're great defensive units and great offensive units as well. Once we build up 2-3 immortals, we can go across the map and we can snowball and get out of control. This, of course, applies to both players. We can see Cyan is going for a much more standard initial opener here with that Observer, but there's that Prism on the way. Are we going to be seeing a third gateway here? Yeah, NightMare, he wants to get into the face of Cyan as fast as possible. Oh boy. The aggression is real. Meanwhile, Cyan is teching. We have a Twilight Council on the way. Likewise, a Twilight Council on the way for NightMare as well. But he's still looking to be the aggressor. Everything is being sent across the map. We got a lot of Stalkers. We have 1 Immortal and 4 Sentries. Hallucination Scout will see a lot. We'll see basically what he has back at home. He just doesn't know that the army is missing. He doesn't know that it's about to knock down his front door. What do we have to defend? Soon to be an Immortal. We're going for Glaives. Oh my god. Okay. Glaives is on the way, and that can work out quite well if we can survive that long, because NightMare is already here. He's looking to try and force field even the ramp if possible. Oh, and there we go. Force fields are thrown down for both players. Shield Battery does get targeted, as well as the Immortal. And so far, NightMare has been able to out-trade his opponent, but the ground army for Cyan is maybe a little bit too much. Oh god, the juggling though is real. We essentially have Blink already, but the Prism is being focused down. We do take down those Stalkers. Cyan is gonna... No, he's barely not gonna be able to hold the Immortal. It's too much. Oof. And that applies for both players. As the Immortal comes out just in time for Cyan, he barely holds on. Saves his natural base. Did lose a couple of probes, but does hold on for dear life. And behind this, we're throwing down more gateways. We're going for a big 2-base all-in with Glaive Adepts. And suddenly Cyan is on the back foot. He's taking his 3rd base. He's trying to get into his own Blink. Now, Glaives is a really interesting upgrade in PvP. So, as you can imagine, in a head-to-head fight, Adepts are worse than Stalkers, and this doesn't scale well into the late game. That's why I'm saying it's an all-in, alongside the Gateway Explosion as well. Like Cyan, he doesn't intend for the game to go on much longer. Mass Adepts, what they can do is that they can tank a lot of Immortal shots. It takes a lot of shots from these Immortals to kill an Adept. Same with Stalkers as well. So they're very tanky units, and the goal here is for the Adepts to be a wall, to be a shield, to be a shield for the Immortals of Cyan. And they can, you know, they have some decent DPS that does come into play as well. Not the best DPS, but decent nonetheless. As Adepts are bypassing the army, they do shade into the natural base, forcing NightMare out of position. The 3rd base is exposed. The Immortals are exposed. He's going for them. Shield Battery does go down. The Immortal's going to be going down next. The force fields are looking pretty damn good. NightMare loses one of his Immortals almost immediately. So does Cyan, though. That Prism a little bit too far back. We need to save it. Oh, Immortals are falling for both players, but no, NightMare saves his. The Micro are a little bit too good, but there's still so many Adepts on the ground. Is it going to be enough? Again, despite how many Adepts we have, Overcharge is going to be holding the line. NightMare, he is holding. This did initially look really damn good for Cyan. But after he lost his Immortals, after he miscontrolled a little bit by not being able to save them, does he have enough? He gets the mineral line. He can maybe take down this base, but the base doesn't matter. Cyan is all in. NightMare isn't. Once again, he threatens a shade into the natural base. He commits as well. Oh my god, the probes fight! Oh no! The mineral line goes down in the blink of an eye. This is getting out of hand. We have a recall just to try to save whatever we can. NightMare cleans this up, but he is down to 26 probes. Barely anything. Cyan, he's not stopping. Bold move. I think this is a little bit too much. All Cyan has to do right now is defend. He has to defend. He has to try to hold on back at home. He has 1 Immortal, and that is it. Like, I understand the logic right now, Cyan. He wants to cripple the economy of his opponent. He wants to try to force NightMare all in, but he's already, like, it's already happening. Like, NightMare, he's already across the map. The Immortal has arrived. He's going to try and depower that Robo. Oh, God, he is so close to doing so. The Stalkers rock up here at the natural. And we're kind of committed to a base trade at this point. But I do think that NightMare has the advantage. The Stalkers do so much better. They fare so much better in a fight. They take down the Immortal. They take down the Adepts. We do have another Immortal waiting in the main base. Meanwhile, NightMare's losing everything. Every single probe is falling. And Cyan is holding onto his main. He is going to be able to mine. honestly, this Immortal coming out is huge here for Cyan. If it wasn't for this Immortal, I do think that NightMare could have broken the main base, but alas, now he cannot. And now things are getting really weird. Now Cyan still has a big advantage, is mining, is heavily supplied block, so unfortunately can't make— oh god, no! Can't make anything as the Immortal goes down. NightMare, oh, he slips up, he isn't able to save it, he doesn't pick it up. You can see the Adepts are being hunted down. They attempt to be hunted down. Oh, as NightMare is bleeding out a couple too many units. NightMare, he can make a probe. He has 3 workers left. Ah, no. He has 2 workers left. He has 1 worker. As we get a recall. Hold on, let's have a look at the units here. There you go. We got 1 probe in the main, 1 probe at the 3rd base. Technically still mining. NightMare looking at the units as well. He's up to 15 Stalkers against 16 Adepts and 1 Immortal. Again, I do think that NightMare can out-control his opponent, especially with Blink. But pushing up this ramp is going to be a tough ask. Oh, he's going to try to. There we go. The shields have been activated. I love it. We have a sentry to force field the ramp. He is ready for it. But now we have a 2nd Immortal. With 2 Immortals, Cyan has a better army. We've got a Prism on the way. Soon, I imagine we're going to be getting another Immortal as well. Cyan is just getting further and further ahead. NightMare is on a timer. It's on the clock. Like, the one chance that NightMare has is if Cyan commits to a Shade. If Cyan commits to a Shade, but oh, this time we have the Prism, the Immortal is going to be jumped on top of the army. He's going for it! Completely bullying NightMare back. He's trying to bypass the army, but alas, he cannot. Prism does go down! Cyan falling apart a little bit with the control. NightMare, I should say, just finding these opportunities, out-controlling his opponent. More Adepts get picked off for free. Again, NightMare does have the more maneuverable army. Meanwhile, leave the probes alone. There's like 4 of them. No. Not like this. Probes going down left and right. We do see NightMare looking to try and blink into the main. Oh, this is a bold move. He's going to force field. Another Prism goes down. He does force the recall, and now NightMare, he's got to get the hell out of here. The surround is real. Oof. Clutch recall out of Cyan. Meanwhile, Adepts in the main base, wreaking havoc. Cutting the worker count of NightMare in half. Does take down the Observer. Again, NightMare, he's been doing a great job at preserving his Stalkers and picking off a couple of Adepts here and there. Another solid force field. Takes down another Stalker. And another 2 Adepts as well. Again, the efficiency here from NightMare has been better. Up! He goes for it. Force fields the Immortals out of the fight. Stalker versus Adept. Best case scenario for NightMare. And yeah, he is just out-trading his opponent. Up, up, up. That's to be careful. Jesus. Very clutch micro, but once again, a better fight. Cyan has now run out of minerals. He is out of resources in his main. The probes. Hide, puppy, hide. As we even recall the probes to safety. As NightMare has been just microing his heart out. Does lose a Stalker across the map, unfortunately. He's turning back around. I kind of like this. Kind of. Like, again, Cyan has no mining right now. He can't afford a Nexus either. Oof. He's going to have to long distance mine. And NightMare has the room to go back home and clean up these adepts and continue mining. Yeah, he's waiting for the shade, and here we go. 4 more adepts go down. At the same time, Prism dives into the main. Bold move here from NightMare. Cyan, he's down to 4 adepts. Like, his army is just so tiny compared to what it once was. Like, Cyan is down to 4. He used to have 16. He used to have 16 adepts. But the power of Copium. NightMare, fueled by the it's working. Oh no! God, that was a bold blink. Long distance mining is real. We can see NightMare looking to pull Cyan apart. We do have enough money. Nexus gets thrown down. Oh, he wants the sentry. Doesn't get it. He wants it, Bobby. He wants it. But now that we have mining, there we go. More stalkers are being warped in. Cyan is going to be able to build up his forces. Once again, the pressure... Oh, I mean, the pressure has been on NightMare this entire time. Oh, triggers the shield. God. Every single time, he has to be so careful. Oh, God! He has to be so careful with his army. It's a delicate dance fighting these immortals. Another sentry is on the way. He's getting ready to force field. I think he can. Yeah, I think he knows it. If he cuts this army in half, I think he can take it. He's looking for his moments. Cyan as well, playing with fire right now. Oof. A massive volley goes off at the same time. Cyan does split off a couple of adepts, and they're going to be once again laying siege upon that 3rd base. The one mining base of NightMare. He can't afford to lose these workers. They're also precious to him. There we go. We warp in back at home. Adepts are being cleaned up. Stalker. Oh, Observer goes down. The Immortal! Oh, that's what he was looking for. One moment, one lapse in judgment. Cyan bleeds out an Immortal. He's down to 2. We have a 3rd on the way. He knows he can force field. It's a little bit of a late force field, but it's going to be good enough. That Immortal is not a part of this fight. Stalkers are falling left and right. We have another Immortal on the way. It's going to be coming in from behind. Ah! Can he depower? It looks like the Immortal does come out in time. But it's going to go down almost instantly. NightMare's done it. I can't believe it. He was so dead. NightMare was so dead in this game, but the copium was real. The hopium was real. And NightMare is going to be able to shut this down. His army's still very low, to be fair. That one Immortal, this entire time, he wants to fight, Bob. He wants to fight. He wants in. He's finally able to get into his own main base, where we blink on forward. GG gets called, and NightMare does it. He takes game 1. Oh my god. GG. Wow. NightMare refusing to give up. He was down to 4 probes. He was down to 2 probes. Remember that. I'm just quickly switching our scene over. You can see this is the worker graph. NightMare was down to 2 probes. 2 probes, Poppy. He had 15 stalkers against 16 adepts and 2 immortals and sentries. It's crazy. But we saw that with blink stalkers, again, they're very maneuverable, they're very microable. You can, if you have better control, you can do so much with them. And again, it was a very delicate dance that NightMare had to perform, but he did it. He just barely was able to pull it off. Again, every single time he was picking off 1 or 2 units here and there, just forcing mistakes out of Cyan, being very meticulous with his control, making sure he didn't lose any of his stalkers. Ooh, GG, well played. Oh. In the chat, blink in a dream, true. But we are in the dream, Poppy. Wait, blink It's not a dream, Papi. It's a nightmare. Ah, let's go. And here we go. Spawning. In the bottom left-hand corner of Ancient Cistern, we have the South Korean Protoss player representing Team Abydos. And all the waifus out there, it is NightMare. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Chinese Protoss player representing the Starving Camels, SSLT. He was so damn close. The victory was within his grasp, but it did slip through his fingers. It is Cyan. Oh my god, what an intense game we just had. And that's gonna be pretty demoralizing. Let's be real. Like, NightMare is gonna be feeling pretty damn good about himself. He's like, mate. He's gonna be popping off as we speak. Cyan, that's heartbreaking. We've been there before, right? It's relatable. You're in a ladder game. You know you have a massive advantage. You know that you're winning. You just have to close it out, and your opponent refuses to die. They just refuse. And you make a couple of mistakes here and there. Your opponent capitalizes on them. It's okay. We can afford some mistakes, but the mistakes, they just keep on adding up, and yeah, it's over then and there. Feels bad, man. Oh my god. But the other thing, of course, is that Cyan, I'm sure he knows within himself that, hey, I could have won that game. And I know that I can win this game. I know that, well, I guess Cyan should be aware that, hey, he can go toe-to-toe with NightMare. It is within his ability to force the ace match, to make a series out of this, and to take a game. So that's what I hope. I do hope that we do go all the way to game number 3. Personally, as a selfish caster, I want to cast more games. We'll see. See where we go. As we do have double gate openers all around. 2 Stalkers coming out from Cyan. Likewise, 2 Stalkers from NightMare. No one's messing around with any Adepts. Again, it's a larger map, so it's harder, more difficult to really be aggressive with them. As we are just looking to expand. And yeah, we'll see where this does lead us. We'll see what kind of tech we end up with as well. Cyan doing a great job at keeping that probe hidden. Oh, does bypass those Stalkers in the end. Just, oh no, almost did. As a probe goes down, quickly checking the vision here. Cyan didn't see the Nexus, but did see a shield battery, so may as well have seen the Nexus on the low ground. He knows NightMare isn't going for a 1 base all-in. Likewise, NightMare also goes for a scout, confirms the base, and also sees that Cyan isn't going for a 1 base all-in. Love to see it. Outside of that, we have mirrored builds. Both players going for a Twilight Council. No Stargates, no Oracles. Just straight up Blink Stalker play. Oh boy. Here we go. But even though the opener looks pretty standard, all things considered, and we have a little bit of a difference here. We do have NightMare delaying his own Stalker production, going for sentries instead. With this, we'll have those hallucinated scouts, and there we go. Phoenix is moving out across the map as we speak. NightMare not in position to deny it. So with this, NightMare is going to be, oh sorry, Cyan wasn't in position to deny it, and NightMare is going to be able to get a full scout of the main, figure out what is going on. NightMare isn't punished for skipping out those additional Stalkers, and yeah, now he's looking pretty damn solid back at home. He gets eyes on the Twilight Council, sees it researching, confirms the gases, and even the saturation at the natural as well. We have seen players like Night Phoenix, for example, take a natural base but actually not saturate it and actually still commit to a 1 base all-in. So it is important for as a Protoss player to figure out what your opponent's up to and just get as much confirmation, as much scouting as possible. Speaking of scouting, Cyan, ooh, missed something. He went for his own scout. Hallucination did get in, but no, Cyan did not see the Dark Shrine that's on the way. NightMare being a little bit cheeky here, and this is a little bit scary. Pylon is on the way. Oh, Cyan, he's setting up for a fast third. You know what that means? That means no Robo, no Stargate, no detection. Not yet. We should be going for a Robo momentarily. Hopefully we get it in time. There we go. Robo is on the way. But the Dark Shrine is about to finish up. This is going to be close. It's going to be very close. The Robo is also exposed. If the DTs wanted to, when they show up, they could even try to depower the Robo and then go for the mineral lines. That could just end the game. And the DTs are being warped in. And Robo's still halfway done. There is a second pylon that's going to be keeping this powered at the same time. Here we go. Cyan is pushing through the natural base. Going to try and break on in, but we have an overcharge. NightMare defends. And we'll see what NightMare goes for. He could go for the Robo, but no, he's going for the mineral lines. He's going for the secure damage. Probes are falling left and right. Cyan, his main army, does pull back. And we have no mining. We have 0 mining right now. All the probes are transferred over to the third base where there's another DT waiting for them. Even though we haven't killed a lot of workers, the economy has essentially gone down to 0. Observer does come out. Cyan finally going to be able to resume mining at his main, at his natural. At the same time, NightMare pushes forward, but I think this is a bit of an overextension. The main army of Cyan is larger than NightMare's. Oh, but here come the reinforcements. Uh-oh. Suddenly, NightMare is breaking on through. Yeah, we have another warp in here, utilizing that proxy gateway. The third base is being broken. At the same time, DTs are distracting Cyan here in his natural. It does pull away some of those stalkers, and that means that NightMare, he takes control of the third. Does take control of the third base. You do see that NightMare is losing some workers across the map due to these adepts, but they're being cleaned up. The third goes down. Now NightMare has a massive advantage. He has the economic advantage, the base count. Immortal is on the way, so NightMare is going to have a hard time breaking the natural, but outside of that, he's in a pretty damn good position. Oh boy. And we'll see how Cyan can come back from this. We may just be forced to throw down additional gateways. What do we have? We have 5 gates in total, which is okay for Cyan. But yeah, not enough to all in. So he's gonna try and he's gonna try and re-establish his third. The proxy hasn't been, I can't believe it. The proxy hasn't been scattered, hasn't been spotted. Added to the taste-a-lope, keeping it company. Love to see it. As the stalkers go for a counterattack, they do pick off a sentry, but they get pounced upon as well. And there's plenty here to defend. Boy, and NightMare, his army is just getting larger and larger over time. Now, Cyan can still take a fight with his Immortals, especially with 2. He's got sentries to force field the ramp as well, so NightMare has to be very careful with how he engages. Proxy Gateway has finally been found. And NightMare, he can't engage with these Immortals yet, but he will be able to once charge kicks in. We have a charge on the way for those Zealots. And they have a similar role to Adepts that we saw last game, where Stalkers and Immortals, they have a hard time cleaning up Zealots. Sorry, they do a great job at just buffering and supporting the Stalker army. And here we go. The Zealots have arrived. Again, game 1 was a little more back and forth. Here in game 2, though, NightMare has had a little more map control for far longer. We'll see if Cyan can keep up with this in some way. With maybe shield batteries maybe overcharged, but as I say that, shield batteries get depowered one after the other. The Zealots, they dive on top of the Immortals. They were so exposed. The first Immortal goes down almost immediately, and we can see NightMare just snowball out of control. The engage was not going in favor of Cyan in any way, shape, or form. That was disastrous. Ay. With that, the third base is going to be going down. We do snipe the Prism, which is nice, but Cyan has lost all of his Immortals. That was the one advantage that he had going his way. GG gets called, and NightMare will take the series 2-0. GG. Oh. Well played, but a shout out to Cyan, because again, game 1 should have been his. He almost took game 1 against NightMare. Again, it was so close. So yeah, shout out to Cyan for giving us an entertaining series nonetheless. Meanwhile, GG, congratulations to NightMare.